Hey guys, Steel Vico here, and welcome back to another video. It's been way too long since I've made a video of my Cyborg head project, and I don't know why it's been so long. It's just kind of happened, but so this video is going to be another kind of set of videos that I've recorded at different periods of time, due to the fact that some of the videos I recorded, this was before the whole Easter special. Some of these just weren't long enough to warrant its own video, so I usually save them up to add to a group of videos like this. So yeah, I hope you guys had a great spring break. So yeah, so if I in some of the videos, if I sound a little bit different, some of the segments I sound different, or it's a little confusing. It's just because of the fact that these were shot at different times and stuff. So yeah. First of all, my dad got the lights, his light. So thank you, Dad, for that. So he also ended up soldering it to this thing. As you can see, it kind of rotates from red to blue, but red to blue to a different color, and it's gonna look neat. Right now it looks a little weird, but this video is just mainly painting stuff, so we'll just get started. So first of all, I'm just gonna turn the lights off and set that aside over here. We had to put a hole through his head right here. We'll be worrying about that in another video too, but as of right now, it is just a painting video / it's a build video, but won't be covering everything. So that's painted. That didn't take long. So then also we have this thing, and I'll show you what it does, after I do the painting. But basically, Cyborg guy fell forward. We're just going to be painting it. This is mainly hot glue and foam. To make this was not to deter people from trying to replicate it, because if you want to try to replicate it, go on ahead. That's the point of these build videos anyway. But keep in mind that this is, in my opinion so far, the hardest part, and the fact that it's kind of painful and it's a little tedious, but it should be worth it. And basically, this is the eye unit. So, this is the other eye, that is the robotic eye of the Cyborg. And I'm just painting the hot glue. And I'm trying to get some of it on here, on like the lens itself. Not the lens, the actual part that was it was a lens, but it was more than just a lens. I'm not trying to don't get it on the actual lens, but the plastic part. And it's probably not necessary to paint this part, because this is on the inside, but I want it to look nice, so I'm going to, even though nobody will ever see this part. So yeah, the top needs a little bit of painting. Most of it won't be seen, but yeah, as you can see, it actually does kind of look gross right now. Something else, it's going to actually supposed to look burnt. So the skin around it, that's this stuff. I'm gonna paint most of it red later on anyway, but I'm gonna leave black, but I'm gonna leave some of it red. But that will be, we're gonna have to let that dry for a little bit, and then I'll be back when it's dry. Actually, you know what? While that thing is drying, I'm gonna be talking about his lighting and stuff. Like, I'll actually do it this video. So, I don't know exactly all the details, but my dad basically ordered this thing. This was just a separate, all the way up to here, and all this was ordered in a kit, but it wasn't put together or anything. It was like multi-purpose, and I'm not sure if it was ordered in a kit or if he just like ordered it all together, but this is basically a battery thing with an on-off switch, and it can hold, and it holds, 1 second. It holds, oops, where'd it go? These kind of batteries, 2 of them, I'm not sure what they're called, but it basically holds 2 of them. Nothing too special, about that, but, yeah. Then we soldered it to, a resistor, which also came in a kit in like that pack or whatever. And then it was connected to this thing, which then, we soldered that to this. And then this thing can be connected to the wire that goes through here, and then the light. So, basically my dad soldered it, and that's basically the, roughly what that is. Also, if you guys remember when I was talking about the lens, a long time ago I said that I lost the piece that had broken off, even though I was going to throw it away anyway. Well, I found it. I'm going to throw it away anyway, but I might as well just show you guys. It doesn't really matter anymore, but I felt like showing you guys it anyway. Here we have the ear. I attached this ear yesterday, yesterday from the time that this is being recorded. This was a molded, so what I did basically was I don't recommend doing this. If you want to make an ear, I recommend just kind of trying to make your own mold, but if you want to, I suppose you could. But, you take Play-Doh, and you basically press it to your ear. Don't let it get too deep into your ear. That's not a good idea. Be careful. Also, be careful. You don't want to get it in your hair or anything, but if that's possible, I did that, and then I took hot glue and kind of molded it around. It didn't come out looking very good, as in like an actual ear, but it did look really melty, and it looked good for what I wanted it to look like. So this is what it looks like. I also, I made the ear itself a long time ago, or quite a while ago, and then I painted it still a long time ago, but more recently, and then I glued it on to the ear. And I was having trouble deciding which way it goes until I finally figured out that what this was, and that's actually for the front of the ear, and I think it looks pretty good this way. And also, I've had trouble deciding whether I want this thing supposed to be coming out of the ear or from behind the ear. Well, problem solved, because I didn't, when I made the mold for the ear, this thing just was broken to begin with, and for some reason I didn't glue it together. But it's a good thing I didn't, because it's actually like a clip, because then I can take this out. If I want it to look like it's coming out from behind the ear, I can just do it this way. Or if I want it to be hidden, you just like loop it around like that. But then if I want it to look like it's coming out of the ear, you just kind of clip it in like that, and then it looks like it's coming out of the ear. So, yeah, also something I've just realized you guys wouldn't remember was this. I painted this black for the most part. I left some red because I want to make it look bloody, but that's the final product for the burnt eye / cyborg part. I think it came out looking pretty good. It's hard to tell on video, I think. There you go. Kind of hard to tell the colors, but that's green. It does not look right on camera, but so the main part of it is the red, but it kind of cycles through, which is cool. It's a little off center, and it kind of looks like it's looking the other direction, but hey, it's broken, so why not? So, for this segment, I'm going to probably leave the ear here, I think. Yeah. And I have 2 of these paints. I was lucky enough to be able to find these in my paint bucket. And I'm going to be painting the outlines of some of the parts like that I had it fixed to his head. Yeah, that'll work, I guess. So basically I'm just painting the hot glue of where I mounted it. You won't see it very well in the back, but since the actual human ear layer in the back is kind of thin, I think if it were burnt, that part would probably just kind of come off. It's kind of gross to think of, but I think it probably would. And in this case, it did. And it also just makes it so that I don't have to worry about accidentally gluing this wire to anything by not adding the back. Plus, nobody's really going to see the back. They're just going to see the other part. So, I'm not quite sure what this ear will be. I'm not sure if it's going to be like a fake synthetic ear, or if it's going to be like what was his real ear melting. But not 100% sure on that. But the ear is definitely a different shade than everything else. But that's no big deal because, you know, it's an ear. And plus, if it got burned, it's gonna change colors. I mean, plus I'm gonna add some like black outlines to make it look charred. Maybe some red outlines. Still to like blood. Not 100% sure exactly what I'm gonna do quite yet. But right now, I am just going to paint this. I hope I made how I made the ear thing. I hope that wasn't too confusing on how I made the ear. If you have any questions about that, just put it down in the comments, and I'll try to explain it as well as I can in the comment section if you have any questions about this. If you're attempting to replicate this or anything. I mean, obviously you can't replicate it because it's impossible to get it to look exactly the same, but if you're trying to make something similar and want to know how, then yeah. And believe it or not, this is actually made around my ear, but it didn't quite come out looking like my ear at all, but it works. I'm happy with the results, because it's supposed to look melty, and it did kind of come out looking melty. It's kind of an odd paint. I'm not sure it doesn't smell or anything, but it's weird because it sticks to this stuff after a while. Like, I was testing it on this ear because I was tempted to use this ear to make it, but I decided not to. And it stays after a while. Doesn't come off or anything. Hot glue the ear onto the head. Something I recommend when putting any of the parts on, like, for example, hot gluing this to the head. I haven't tried it the other way, but I do recommend that instead of putting hot glue onto the foam, to put it on, you put hot glue onto the object you're trying to put on first. It just probably works better, just in case you might melt the foam. I don't think you will, but yeah, and I think you might want to be careful and kind of selective about what hot glue gun you use. You use one that's too hot, it probably will melt the foam head. Alright guys, welcome back. The ear has finally dried for the most part. Yeah, it's dried. So, next I will be doing, and finally for this video probably, I will be adding the burn marks. So I'm just using the usual black. So I wiped some of it off, and I was like, okay, well, what am I going to paint? Like, what parts am I going to paint then? And I realized that the corner parts and stuff, it kind of looks good the way it is, leaving it with because the black outlines, it does look fried that way. And, kind of looks kind of rotted, like, if you've seen, like rotted meat or rotted tomatoes, it kind of looks like that. It's kind of hard to tell on camera, but I kind of like the way it looks like this way fried. Kind of just how I ended up wiping it off, and then it left it like on the corners and stuff. So here, what he looks like from this view, it's kind of like yeah. So I kind of like it this way, so I think I'm probably going to leave it. Like I said, if I come up with anything, it'd be very minor and probably would just be one of those things where I'd throw it in if I do anything else with it.